We're going to start today's session with a poll. Question is, how hopeful or fearful are you about AI in the workplace? So you see the choices there. You might be very fearful, somewhat fearful, neutral, somewhat hopeful, or very hopeful.
Yeah, we're not supposed to say anything until the voting's done, just like the elections.
Okay, it looks like the popcorn has stopped popping on the poll. And we have a very optimistic and hopeful group, which is great. Looks like about 88% are either hopeful or somewhat hopeful, a few neutrals, and we have, looks like one fearful. Well, let's kind of dive into the discussion. So you see 4% fearful, 8% neutral, and 88, a whopping 88% of optimistic, hopeful town and learning leaders in our discussion today.
What I've noticed, because the areas I support are very interested in experimenting with this stuff. So I was able to just jump on immediately and play, right, which was great. But my organization allowed me to do that. And I did an informal, just kind of quick survey with my LinkedIn, network. Companies were not, some were not allowing people to use it, right, and locking it out at work. So then, of course, there isn't that. It's a little scary maybe to people. For me, AI doesn't seem scary. My company's like, let's see what we can do with it, but, within reason, put some guardrails. Don't be putting our information out there,
right,
but using a little trust, right? Other organizations that maybe have stricter standards or, and really want to limit that, maybe kind of spark that fear a little bit. It just kind of, I don't know, again, if it's connecting with age, this is a total guess, but there might be some more rule followers versus those that are, if my company says it's scary, maybe it is a little scary,
We just opened up a ChatGPT Teams account, which is a new level of paid service that they provide where they're not training your model off of your conversations, your data, or your things that you're loading to that. So that certainly eased some concerns around here in our organization at Lake Forest Center for Leadership around using it for specific purposes of content or data analysis or just feedback and things like that. So
David mentioned in the chat, AI can serve as a mentor or coach during onboarding. I think that's one of the big L&D themes. We're expecting, at the very least at Intrepid, we're expecting AI to serve as an efficiency engine for L&D endeavors, right? So personalized learning means that you can get onboarded faster, or you can learn a new skill faster. Adaptive learning means sort of the same thing. So there's a lot of as Tracy was mentioning, it's less taking a job away and more speeding up your onboarding time or your sort of reskilling time that it might take for, the worker that you want to hire to be capable of whatever the role is.
Just real quick with Anne, Anne has a great case study, use case, but I did recently use ChatGPT probably to do that writer's block, and one sentence was completely the opposite. It sounded really good in line, and it was like 3/4 of the way into this deep paragraph, but you do have to, as Brian said earlier, it needs that human supervision to just make sure it's accurate.
Another way I use this was really, this is a really simple use. I had to design and then launch a leadership development program. We've been there. And so I knew the components I wanted in there. I knew the tools, built the thing out. And my boss said, okay, before you present this, you're going to need to answer the question, what was on the cutting room floor? What didn't you include and why? And so I'm like, oh, geez, So I went to ChatGPT and I said, what are things that could be included, whatever my prompt was, what are things that could be included in a leadership development program? Well, it gave me about 3 pages of topics. And so then I could go back. I went back to my boss and I said, okay, I'm not putting all these things in here. And here's why I think I'm not, because based on the research, we were told to do this, but this is what's on the cutting room floor. And so I didn't give it all, but that really helped me think about what I wasn't doing,